Lagging to start, Neighbor strike out. They're up and pacing. Waltz Rorty out fast for the lead. New Weapon between horses. Love Wellwood's three deep, and on the far outside, Sycamore's Kyle's coming on and around the turn. They're battling for early position. Waltz Rorty benefits from the rail. Love Wellwood neatly drops in second. Sycamore's Kyle wants the lead, and here he comes after it. They race into the stretch for the first time, and Sycamore's Kyle up to take the lead. Waltz Rorty racing second. Love Wellwood third. New Weapons out of fourth. They went by the quarter 28-4 under the finish wire the first time, and New Weapon now takes the lead. Sycamore's Kyle lets him go. He's racing second. Waltz Rorty on the rail third. Poco Max on the outside, parked in fourth. Love Wellwood back to fifth. Skipping Shadow on the outside with cover six. Never Strike Out on the rail seventh. Barb's Bikini's out there eight. Cardamom Tim under a tight hold trails, but he's just about 7 lengths off the lead. They curve on to the back stretch and move by the half mile. 1 minute and 1/5. New Weapon by 2. Sycamore's Kyle second. Poco Max gains ground third. Waltz Rorty shuffled fourth. Skipping Shadow advancing on the outside with cover fifth. Love Wellwood on the rail sixth. Barb's Bikini 7. Cardamom Tim going 3 wide 8. Neighbor Strike Out now is the trailer. Into the upper turn they race. New Weapon by 2. Poco Max hanging on the outside second. Sycamore's Kyle still there along the rail third. Cardamom Tim continues to advance while racing 3 wide off the 3/4. 1:29-1. They turn for home, and New Weapon opens up the lead by 4. Sycamore's Kyle along the inside second. Cardamom Tim closing third. Waltz Rorty wants racing room with pace fourth. Far outside, Neighbor Strikeouts closing ground. New Weapon has the lead. Cardamom Tim. Barb's Bikini now comes on late. New Weapon has the lead with Cardamom Tim racing second and Barb's Bikini third. They are often pacing with Master Magician driving out for the lead. Falcon's Key from the center of the track moves up. Check Rider drops in along the inside third. Le Grand Nero hustles up out there in fourth. High Gear Hanover along the rail fifth. Shannon Freedom came away sixth. MBL 2 lengths back seventh. Emigrant is eighth. Blasting Zone is the trailer as they race into the stretch for the first time. Your leader, Master Magician on the outside. Le Grand Nero's parked in second off a quarter in 28-2. Le Grand Nero now to take the lead. Master Magician racing second. Falcon's Key now takes out of third, and Check Rider's right behind him in fourth. High Gear Hanover is third over on the outside fifth. Shannon Freedom saves ground on the rail sixth. Emigrant on the outside advancing in seventh. MBL is eighth. Quite a difference from last week. Blasting Zone is the trailer. Over to the half mile, Falcon's Key leads them to the half mile, 59-1, and Falcon's Key out there a length, and there goes Check Rider with a rush. Check Rider on the outside up to challenge Falcon's Key, and Check Rider now takes the lead. Falcon's Key racing second. High Gear Hanover gaining on the outside third. Emigrant comes on fourth. Le Grand Nero back to fifth. MBL out there sixth. Master Magician seventh. Blasting Zone and Shannon Freedom. They race around the far turn and move to the 3/4 at 1:27-3, 28-2, third quarter. Check Rider on the inside, High Gear Hanover on the outside. Around the turn, they're in the stretch. Check Rider has the lead. High Gear Hanover on the outside, second. Falcon's Keys trying to come on again, third. The rest of the field far back. High Gear Hanover has his head in front. Check Rider trying to dig it along the inside second, but High Gear Hanover is drawing away as they come down to the wire. High Gear Hanover takes it with Check Rider second and Falcon's Key third. They are often pacing with BP's Hep and taken by surprise out fast for the lead. Little Bravado's moving fast from the outside. Coming away fourth is Pulitzer Prize. Stumptown Boy drops in fifth. Racing in sixth is Share the Spirit, Electric Mohawk, and Marengo Lane make up the field of eight as they enter the stretch for the first time. Little Bravado on the outside now takes the lead. Taken by surprise, holds the inside second. Racing in third, BP's Hep, the quarter 28-4. Under the finish wire the first time, it's Little Bravado a length. Racing in second, taken by surprise. BP's Hep is third on the outside. Pulitzer Prize now comes on fourth. Stumptown Boy out with cover fifth. Electric Mohawk saves ground in sixth. Share the Spirit third over on the outside seventh. Marengo Lane still can see them all. Over to the half-mile pole, Little Bravado takes them to the half with Pulitzer Prize moving up on the outside second. 59-4, and they're halfway home. Little Bravado by two. Pulitzer Prize advancing on the outside second. In third position, taken by surprise, Stumptown Boy gains ground fourth. On the outside, Share the Spirit fifth. BP's Half backs up sixth. Marengo Lane and Electric Mohawk. They race into the far turn. Little Bravado leads a lane. Pulitzer Prize ducks to the inside now. Second, 3/4 and 1, 27-4. And Little Bravado turns for home. 4 lengths on top. Here comes Stumptown Boy on the outside second. Racing in third through the stretch is Pulitzer Prize, taken by surprise fourth. Racing in fifth on the outside of horses, Marengo Lane. It's Little Bravado with the lead on the outside. Stumptown Boy is a menacing threat. Little Bravado with Stumptown Boy closing on the outside. Little Bravado, Stumptown Boy, one final move, too late. Little Bravado holds on. Stumptown Boy second, close for third. They're often pacing on the inside. B. Russell Sprout out for the lead. Sycamore's Carries leaving on the far outside. Pig Whistlin's moving fast as they battle for early position. And there goes Pig Whistlin' 3 wide to take the lead, holding the inside. Sycamore's Carry and driving up between horses. Dianorama 3 across the track into the stretch for the first time. Dianorama now takes the lead, racing in second on the rails. Sycamore's Carry. Pig Whistlin' out there third, the quarter in 28-2. Under the finish wire the first time, Pig Whistlin' now comes on to take the lead. Dianorama holds the inside second. On the inside, Sycamore's Carry third. Up on the outside, Greg's Image now third. Sycamore's Carry on the inside fourth. Brett's back on the outside in fifth. B. Russell Sprout sixth. Super Modified on the outside seventh. Flying Amadeus is eighth and trailing the field. Flying Count. Greg's Image now with a bold move sweeps up to take the lead off the half mile in 58-4. Greg's Image leads, and there goes Sycamore's Carry up on the outside to be second. Brett's back is right behind him now, motoring in the third. Pig Whistlin' had a brutal opening quarter. He's still there along the inside fourth. On the outside, Super Modified third over in fifth. Along the inside, Dianorama sixth. B. Russell Sprout 7, Flying Amadeus is going 3 wide 8, Flying Count trails 7 lengths separate the first from the last, 3/4 and 1, 28 flat. They turn for home on the outside, Sycamore's Carry on the inside, Greg's Image. Around the turn, they're in the stretch, Greg's Image on the inside, Sycamore's Carry on the outside, these two heads apart for the lead. From far back, Super Modified on the far outside, Flying Count's closing ground. I don't know if there's enough room for him to get there. Your leader, Greg's Image on the outside, Flying Count, Sycamore's Carry, and Super Modified. A drive to the wire, Super Modified getting up. They're often pacing Trackalator between horses left for the lead. Deadly Breeze showing his early speed on the outside second. Sevi got away third on the rail. On the outside, Charge Plate fourth. Termination covers up the hole now fourth. Charge Plate looks to drop in fifth in front of Raven Ruler sixth. In seventh position, Smart Angle in the early trailer, Keystone Throng. They're into the stretch and move by the opening quarter with Deadly Breeze taking them there in 27-3. Deadly Breeze a hard time getting the lead because Trackalator's saying, Trackalator now takes the lead. Deadly Breeze will try and drop in second. Now Termination gains ground third. Sevi racing fourth. Raven Ruler comes on fifth. Charge Plate on the rail sixth. Keystone Throng moves up seventh. Smart Angle is the trailer. Over to the half-mile pole they race. Trackalator, 3 parts of a lane. Termination gains on the outside, second half in 58 seconds flat. Midway on the backstretch, Termination on the outside puts his head in front. Trackalator on the inside. These two heads apart for the lead. Raven Ruler a strong third. Deadly Breeze still with pace. He's tucked in fourth. Keystone Throng on the outside fifth. To the outside, Charge Plate is sixth, Smart Angle seventh, and Sevi's had enough, and he's a distant trailer. Into the upper turn they race. Trackalator showing a game effort tonight. He leads ahead off the 3/4 in 1:27-2. Trackalator leads. Termination still menacing out there. Second, Raven Ruler's wide for the drive. They're in the stretch. Trackalator has the lead. Termination, Raven Ruler's closing ground with Charge Plate out in the center of the track. And here comes Raven Ruler to get the lead with Trackalator. And on the outside, Charge Plate. Raven Ruler has the lead. The fight will be for second between Trackalator and Charge Plate. Raven Ruler by 3. Close for second. Charge Plate maybe over Trackalator. They're often pacing, Pain in the Bobo out for the lead. Awesome Prince from the center of the track moves up. Snowberry ducks in third. Prince Charvet on the outside moves up fourth. Hawthorne Jake settles in the fifth. Racing in sixth is Prairie Junior. Chicago at it came away seventh with Sky Colors and American Elgin making up the field of 9. They race into the stretch for the first time. Awesome Prince leads. Prince Charvet on the outside, second, the quarter in 28-2. And Prince Charvet moves up to that old familiar spot. He has the lead. Prince Charvet leads the field under the finish wire the first time, a length. Awesome Prince settles second, racing in third. Pain in the Bobo. Snowberry's first over on the outside, fourth. Prairie Junior comes on with cover fifth. Hawthorne Jake on the inside, sixth. Chicago at third over in seventh. Racing in eighth, Sky Colors, American Elgin trails. They move to the half-mile pole with Prince Charvet leading them there in 59-1. Prince Charvet leads this field up the backstretch, a length and a quarter on top. Snowberry racing second. Along the inside, Awesome Prince still there third. Prairie Junior on the outside fourth. Pain in the Bobo racing fifth. Chicago at out there sixth. Hawthorne Jake seventh. Sky Colors and American Elgin into the upper turn. Prince Charvet holding firm, 3 parts of a length. Snowberry on the outside second, 3/4 in 1:28-3. They turn for home. Prince Charvet has the lead on the outside. Snowberry second. Awesome Prince wants room. Around the turn, they're in the stretch. Prince Charvet has the lead. Snowberry out there second. Prairie Junior closing ground third. Pain in the Bobo wants racing room fourth. Far outside, Sky Colors and American Elgin. And here comes Prairie Junior on the outside to get the lead. That's Prairie Junior in front. Snowberry second, close for third. They're often pacing along the inside. Mysterious fell out for the lead. Impressive Step came away, and Impressive Step now goes on with it to take the lead a length. Mysterious Fella holds the inside second. Famous Skipper neatly away third on the rail. Dropping in fourth is Perfect Mohawk. 2 lengths back to Shannon Beam, followed by Burr Rabbit 6, Son of a Gun 7. It's Bruce's 8th. In ninth position, Rare Storm and Keystone Switch trails the quarter 29 seconds flat. By the grandstands and on the finish wire the first time, your leader by a length is Impressive Step, racing in second. Mysterious Fella on the inside in third. Famous Skipper Perfect Mohawk moves up fourth. The outside, Shannon Beam has cover fifth. Racing in sixth on the inside of horses, it's Bruce. Burr Rabbit out there seventh. Son of a Gun back to eighth. Rare Storm on the rail ninth. Keystone Switch trails. They move by the half mile 59-4. Impressive Step pacing a half length on top. Mysterious Fella gains on the outside second. Perfect Mohawk comes on third. Famous Skipper on the inside fourth. Racing in fifth, it's Bruce on the outside sixth. Shannon Beam. Burr Rabbit out there seventh. In eighth position, Rare Storm, Keystone Switch, and now trailing the field, Son of a Gun, side by side to the 3/4 and 127-3. Mysterious Fella on the outside. Impressive Step still there on the inside. Around the turn or in the stretch, Impressive Step has the lead. Mysterious Fella out there second. Famous Skipper wants room third. Closing ground is Perfect Mohawk. From far back, here comes Burr Rabbit. Impressive Step still has the lead. Burr Rabbit's closing on the outside second. Impressive Step with Burr Rabbit and Perfect Mohawk. It's Impressive Step in front. Burr Rabbit second, Perfect Mohawk third. They're often pacing. Buck and Wing driving out to the lead, and between horses, Endless Story is there. Apache Arrow showing early speed, and he'll do battle now with Buck and Wing. The 2 Illinois breds. Apache Arrow now moves up to take the lead. Buck and Wing racing second. Endless Story tucked in third. Uncork is fourth. Called 911 is fifth. Ralph Underwood 6-star Blue Chip and Escort Best into the stretch, and by the opening quarter in 27-3. It's Apache Arrow in command a length. Buck and Wing racing second. Endless Story is third. Uncork drives from fourth. On the outside, Ralph Underwood moves up with cover fifth. Call 911 on the inside and 6-star Blue Chip on the outside seventh. Escort Best trails the field. 8 pacers for tonight's 8th race. Just about 6 lanes separate the first from the last as they move around the club turn and over to the half-mile pole. Apache Arrow takes them there. 59 seconds flat. They'll pick up the pace a bit here. Apache Arrow a length. Uncork on the outside second. Ralph Underwood moves 3 wide third. Buck and Wing back to fourth. On the outside in fifth, Star Blue Chip. Racing in sixth is Endless Story. The outside, Escort Best 7. Called 911 is the trailer into the upper turn, and Ralph Underwood with a rush now to take the lead. Apache Arrow showing gameness. He comes back off the 3/4. 127 flat, 28 flat for the 3/4. Apache Arrow on the inside, Ralph Underwood on the outside as they turn for home. Ralph Underwood on the outside, Apache Arrow still there. Buck and Wing has no place to go. From far back, Star Blue Chip is coming on. Your leader is Ralph Underwood on the inside. Apache Arrow, Buck and Wing now closing ground. But here comes Escort Best, and he is fastest of them all. That's Escort Best on the outside coming on and getting up. Ralph Underwood second, Buck and Wing third. They're often pacing with Blazing Sabra driving out for the lead. On the inside, Tandem Lobel. From the outside, Driftwood Sandy. Inside, outside moves up fourth. Looking for a spot, he neatly tucks in fourth. Racing in fifth, Allen View Special. Tip and Tax came away sixth. Wildwood, Dixieland, and Brooklet's Roswell make up the field of eight as they enter the stretch for the first time. The outside, Driftwood Sandy. On the inside, Blazing Sabra heads apart for the lead off an opening quarter of 27-2. Driftwood Sandy takes the lead. Blazing Sabra's right back after him, and it's Blazing Sabra to reclaim the lead. Driftwood Sandy lets him go in second. Racing in third, Tandem Lobel. Racing in fourth, inside, outside. On the outside, Brooklet's Roswell out looking for cover, moving up. Along the inside, Allen View Special back to sixth, up to be seventh, Wildwood, Dixieland, and trailing the field at a half mile, Tip and Tax. 57-2, and they're halfway home, midway on the back stretch. Blazing Sabra length, and Tandem Lobel now moves up to challenge second. Driftwood Sandy third. On the outside, Brooklet's Roswell in fourth. Wildwood, Dixieland third over on the outside. Fifth, inside, outside, saves ground sixth. Tip and Tax out there, seventh. Allen View Special shuffled to the end. Side by side to the three-quarter mile marker. Blazing Sabra ahead by the three-quarters. 1:26-3, 29 1/3 quarter. They turn for home. Blazing Sabra has the lead. Tandem Lobel in between horses. Second on the outside. Closing ground comes Brooklet's Roswell also coming on. Wildwood, Dixieland. Blazing Sabra's hard pressed to keep the lead. Here comes Brooklet's Roswell with inside, outside, and Tip and Tax. That's Brooklet's Roswell with the lead. Inside, outside, second. Tip and Tax is third. Field's on the clubhouse turn. They're up and pacing between horses. Pac-Man out for the lead. On the outside, Whoopie Cloud moves up. Along the inside, Oliver Hill moves through, and it's Oliver Hill now to take the lead. Whoopie Cloud on the outside second. Whoopie Cloud's off stride. A lot of horses have been impeded, and that includes Yankee Champ and High Ability. They race into the stretch for the first time. Your leader is Oliver Hill racing on the outside. Pac-Man's parked in second. Decipher holds the rail third. Beep Beep RK is fourth. The quarter 29 seconds flat under the finish wire the first time, and Pac-Man now makes the top by 2. Oliver Hill racing second. Decipher is third. Beep Beep RK on the inside fourth. Jimmy Dundee on the outside now fifth. Saving ground sixth. Special Happy. High Ability back with the field. Far back. Yankee Champ and Whoopie Cloud. Pac-Man leads this field over to the half-mile pole, and they pass that juncture in 59-4. Pac-Man a length and a half. Oliver Hill second. Decipher racing third. He now drops back in third. Beep Beep Arcade now left first over in fourth. On the outside, Jimmy Dundee with live cover moves up fifth. Special Happy on the rail sixth. High Ability racing in seventh. Yankee Champ eighth. Whoopie Clouds far back. They race around the far turn. Pac-Man 3 parts of a length. Beep Beep RK second. 3/4. 1:28-4. They turn for home with Pac-Man the leader. Beep Beep RK second. Jimmy Dundee is wide for the drive. Around the turn, they're in the stretch, and Pac-Man draws clear by 2. Beep Beep Arcade trying to come on second, but he doesn't have enough. Maybe on the outside, Jimmy Dundee's now closing ground. It's Pac-Man with the lead. Jimmy Dundee, the only one who can catch him. Pac-Man with Jimmy Dundee closing on the outside. Heads apart at the wire. Pac-Man will hold on. Jimmy Dundee second. Beep Beep Arcade third. They're often pacing Desperate Society and humming along go out for the lead. Racing in third is Dwayne's Gamble. Webb came away fourth. Top Up from the outside moves up fifth. Billy Scott drops in sixth. Raging Ralph is parked in seventh. Flying Frankie came away eighth. And Honored Dad is the trailer, but he's on the move. They're into the stretch for the first time. Desperate Society in control of length, humming along racing second. Dwayne's Gamble is third. They race by the opening quarter in 29-2 by the grandstands under the finish wire the first time. Desperate Society leads. Top Up's been parked every step of the way. He's now advancing in second. Humming along, tucked in along the rail, third on the outside. Raging Ralph is fourth. In fifth position to the half-mile pole, Dwayne's Gamble. Honor Dad third over on the outside, moves up sixth. Wap shuffled to seventh. Flying Frankie eighth. Billy Scott's been shuffled to the end. 7 lanes separate the first from the last. They move by the quarter in a minute and 3/5. Midway on the backstretch, Desperate Society leads on the outside. Top Up still parked on the outside in second. He's showing a game effort tonight. And now Top Up moving a little closer to the lead. On the inside, Desperate Society second, humming along racing third. Raging Ralph now backs up fourth. Along the inside in fifth is Dwayne's Gamble. Into the upper turn, Top Up now makes the lead. 3/4 and 1, 28-1. They turn for home with Top Up the leader by 2. Racing in second. Desperate Society humming along is third. Around the turn or in the stretch, and Top Up's under a heavy Lenny D'Amelio whip. He leads by 2. Desperate Society racing second with humming along third. Top Up leads. Desperate Society's coming back to him on the outside. Top Up with Desperate Society making another move on the outside. Top Up will hold on tonight. Desperate Society second. Close for third. Humming along maybe.